welcome back to Opposites Attract Podcast. This is Sonja Ramirez, your girl, and I'm sitting next to
Miguel Ramirez.
What's up, everybody? How is your day?
How's your week?
How is your life?
Going. Welcome back. Oh, you thought we were gonna start over? Nah, let's keep it going.
So yeah, I was in my thoughts, and so I just completely zoned out. It was just funny.
You're like, what is happening right now?
It was funny as shit though, because like I caught myself and I'm like, wait, okay.
Yeah, it's like, what is going on?
Yeah.
But anyway, before we get started, we hope you guys had an awesome Father's Day. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But first, make sure you guys go to our website. And like we've always said, the best thing you can do is share this with somebody else. Do what all the great social media people, podcasters, YouTube people tell you to do. Hit that subscribe bell, hit the notification, like, comment, all that stuff. It really helps us out. It helps the algorithms and stuff. And yeah, share this with somebody else. Find a clip on our Clips channel. Subscribe to the Clips channel.
Thank you all for watching.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
today is Father's Day.
Yes.
When we are recording.
So hope you all
But you guys aren't listening to this until next week or later.
Hope you all had a amazing Father's Day. I been a bit emotional, though you haven't seen much because I've been
keeping it together.
You
haven't been letting it flow.
But this week, just watching, you and the kids and the interaction between you and Adriana at jiu-jitsu and the closeness of our family. And my sister was here yesterday, and we just got into, a deep conversation. And I was sharing with her the things that we've been able to overcome and where we were at the beginning of our relationship and where we are today. And as I'm speaking to her, I'm allowing myself to be in the moment with her, but I'm also taking myself back to where we were and where we are today. And I'm just getting so full of gratitude and
emotion.
Yeah. And, I start to tear up. And then today, just watching you and the kids, and they were so excited to give you your Father's Day, present.
Yeah.
And
I should have brought it.
I'm so, I told her, I'm living the fairy tale. We created this amazing fairy tale, and we're living a real life fairy tale.
And you can too.
And that's what I told her, you can create that. And yeah, it's just crazy. It's crazy to look back at where I was and where my belief system was when it came to marriage or being in a relationship, and how scared I was to allow myself to truly love someone.
Yeah.
And to be so vulnerable to allow someone to really see me and know me.
Yeah.
And how I was able to overcome all of that. And how you were able to overcome.
Yeah, all of my bad, or my brainwashing, I don't know, maybe brainwashing and conditioning isn't exactly the same thing, because conditioning is also just doing the same shit over, perpetuating, just because we're creatures of habit. I'm angry, I've been angry, I'm going to be angry. Mm-hmm. And then catching that, that's a conditioned behavior, or in a way, I think, right? But I was going to ask you what it was. And you started with your beliefs, mm-hmm. right? And I think we always talk about communication. That's a big way of challenging beliefs, right? And then thinking about it and maybe that's not what I thought, or why am I acting this way? But really, it's been a big change in perspective on human nature, that keeps coming back up, right? It is our human nature that we are changing beliefs in.
Yeah. It's letting go of the stories, letting go, of the conditioning, letting go of, I guess it would be the stories that I created about about relationships because of what I was witnessing around me and the things that were being told to me. You know, like the seeds that were being planted, that you can't trust a man. You know,
man, dude. Right now, we went to the movies yesterday, right? And we saw Inside Out 2. Definitely check that out. Awesome movie. If you haven't seen the first one, watch the first one, then watch the second one. One of the best kids movies I've ever seen, the both of them. But what you're describing right now is, oh shit, I don't want to do that. Skip this part if you haven't seen the movie, because I'm going to tell it right now. So skip forward like 10 seconds or 30 seconds. But there's a part where there's things that are developing. They drop down to the core or whatever that bottom place is.
Right.
And there's these strands that are coming up that are like what hold together who you are, your self-belief.
Yeah.
And a lot of these,
it's almost like your subconscious.
right. That's probably what it was. Dude, we got to watch that again because there's a lot of
so many lessons in this story. It's remarkable.
Okay,
and
no more talking about that in case they're coming back to this.
If you are, you know, like if you are learning to live in the present moment and become more aware and mindfulness, this is just, it's going to blow your mind because it helps you really to understand your
core beliefs. That's right.
Yeah. Right.
And what you were just saying is like back then you were like solidifying core beliefs that relationships are this way.
Yeah.
This is how they end.
And it was being even like, proved to me by
the core belief is relationships end in disaster.
Right. Right. Love is not, like that. There's no such thing as
real love or true love or whatever.
Unconditional love, like the love in the movies that you see, like the fairy tale love, which, you know, I mean, there is a balance. Like we do have our differences, but it's the good overweighs the differences. I mean, we rarely get into disagreements like we used to back in the day, like heated and where we're crying, you know, like there's just so much anger and disrespect. Like there's just none of that.
You know, there's so much that goes into it, right? But I think a big part, like we love each other and we've created this family and everything. But a big part is understanding that we are together, but we're also individual beings.
Right.
Like, I want to do everything that makes you happy, but I don't want to control you in any way. You know what I mean? Like in any way. And I know like you feel the same way about me, you know, and it's like if
I had to learn that.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing.
I had to learn that. I
had to learn that too, though. Like
really?
I don't. Well, maybe not. Maybe
like,
not as much. I've always kind of been a little bit that way. Like I've always just been like, you know, people are allowed to do what they want.
Yeah. I mean, I remember at one point we're going everywhere. I remember one point being like, does he not worry about me? Because I was like gone, and you wouldn't even call and check in on me. And and I'm like, you know, but it's you gave me the freedom to be.
Yeah. But that is the truth. Like just earlier today, you know, our kids are doing their chores. And I can hear Audrey say something to Joey like, hey, I told you to something. And his response was, thanks for telling me. And then she said something else. So then I kind of pulled her aside and I talked to her. I'm like, hey, maybe he was supposed to do something. I was like, but you don't have any control over him. You don't get to tell him what to do. He can do whatever he wants to do. He is his own person. And what did he say afterward? Thanks for telling me. Right?
And she barked at him again?
Barked at him again. I was like, but you don't have any control over him. Who are you? Like, He's his own person.
Yeah, but she missed the whole entire. She missed it. I mean,
but it came from like, you're supposed to do this.
Right. Right.
Her expectation, which is a form of control.
Right. Yeah. Right. But she also missed.
No, I also,
Right?
no, I shared with her, and
Yeah.
I told her, like, how did he come back at you? He came back with, thanks for telling me. He didn't come back with an attitude.
Right.
And then you on top of that came back, and then he got mad. And then he came back. But the first response wasn't that way.
Yeah. That reminded me of us.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Because you can only be an asshole for so long before love just comes within and you start checking.
Right.
Like, why am I being so angry? Like, you know, he came back and...
You see, the difference was Joey snapped back the second time. You didn't do that.
Yeah.
Like, you would keep loving me. And then, and maybe that's something to kind of share with Joe. Like, don't take it personal.
Right.
Just love her some more.
Yeah.
Tell her thanks for telling me. And then when she fucking says something smart, be like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't mean it.
Yeah. And it's very hard. Like, I remember, like, you would tell me, why do you allow people to be this way with you? Right? Like, there was...
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, and I have something that I just talked to the kids about.
Yeah. And I'm like, my relationship means more to me than me being right. Right? And now, like, our relationship, I'm working on that relationship.
Yeah.
And she's coming around and we're starting to build on it.
Yeah, that's true.
But if I would have responded in anger, like, here I am apologizing to you when you are the one that's in the wrong, it just would have caused more conflict, more division, right?
Yeah, I could see that.
But too, some people are innocent. Some people respond, you know, like their ego, their pride, they're innocent, they're unaware of themselves. I was aware of myself. I was working on me.
Yeah.
Right. And so
becoming more self-aware.
Right. And that relationship, right? Some relationships are toxic. And some you have to walk away from.
Yeah.
But still carry, like, there's still, like, for me, if I've ever had to walk away from a relationship, there was still love in me for that person.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like I was like, screw you. You can go suck a whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Fat one.
It was still like I was sad, but I knew that the best thing for me was to create space within the relationship because that person is still working on some things or needs to, right? It's just so hard to say.
It's complicated. We were talking about that. It is
very complicated.
Earlier in the week, like how, I mean, even like when it comes to a dream, right? I mean, it's just hard because you have people that are like, you got to chase your dream no matter what, but there's also examples of people that chase their dream, and they could have been doing something else and never made it or whatever. Or, I mean, but what does that even mean? Never made it.
Right.
It depends. You know, like, it's just hard to tell.
It's knowing yourself and having discernment when it's time to, like, let go. And that's very hard for me to say.
But I think in a relationship, if you have if you feel that the other person is controlling and you never feel like you'll ever be able to just be yourself.
Right.
And you can never, like, you don't ever see yourself just being yourself around that person. There's always something that you have to fucking hide or something because you don't want to set them off. And you don't want to, like, I mean, if you can't see yourself with this person in a different way, then I don't know. It's hard. Like, if you don't see them changing at all, like, you're trying and trying and trying, and there is no... Some people have mental illnesses.
Right.
Right? Like that is a real thing.
Like if you're with a narcissist, right? But you're unaware that this person is a narcissist.
Or for some reason, your personality type is attracted to narcissists because of your trauma.
Yeah.
Or something. I don't know. But yeah, I think one of the biggest things has being able to be ourselves. And I remember watching a recent video about like relationships and like how that is one of the most important things is like if you feel like you can be yourself, like completely, fully, you don't feel like you're being controlled by the other person. You guys love each other. The relationship is great. You enjoy spending time together, but it's not like it's weird because I love spending time with you. And like I don't really need that much time away, like where I'm by myself doing my own thing. Even my alone time, a lot of times is alone time with you, you know?
Right.
I don't know where I was going with that, but like when you have that, what I'm saying is like the control, like me being able to be myself doesn't mean that, well, I get to be myself. See you later. I'm going on vacation.
Right.
You know, it's like, I still want to be with you.
Right. Like you can
because I can be myself around you.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. You know, like,
and I don't need to be anybody else.
I was in a previous relationship and he didn't like to dance. He was, you know, very insecure, very quiet, very introverted, just all those things. And I was very, you make fun of me till this day. Like we can't go anywhere without you just talking to somebody or, right? Like you're like, what's that noise? You're just like.
I do the little hand talking gesture.
And that's who I am.
Yeah.
And he would take it as, oh, you're flirtatious.
Yeah.
You're this, you're that. Right. And so I did not feel like I felt caged. I did not feel that I can be myself.
Yeah. You know, I mean, one of the things too, we met in a business. It was a sales business. What we met in was like going out, like the job was going out and meeting new people, talking, like you're trying to meet as many people as you can so you can sell them shit.
Right. Not
so
shit.
I mean, not, you know what I mean?
I know, I'm just messing.
Metaphorical shit. But it's like, what am I going to do? Like I was doing that. You're doing that. Am I going to be like, no, stop building businesses because I don't want you talking to any, like some people are like that.
No, I've recruited some of these people.
Yeah, it's tough.
Where they couldn't grow the business because their husband wanted them home with them. Or they had a problem talking to other people or going to the meetings.
Yet they're broke as fuck and need money.
Right. Yeah.
And it's like, I'm trying, you know, and you just can't be yourself.
And it never has to do with the person in front of you.
And
it always has to do with the jealous, the insecurity, all of that has something to do with what's happened to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they're so unaware because they don't want to look in the mirror because it just is so uncomfortable. Healing is not, it is very challenging.
Babe, yeah. Sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead. It's very challenging.
It is. And it's not, it's not easy. It's not easy to take responsibility. It's not easy to face the things that you've gone through. It's just not easy. And I've had people tell me, I'm not ready. I'm not ready to surrender. I just can't.
Yeah.
And then they go through life. And hopefully one day they'll make the decision that it's time for me to be free. It's time for me to be free.
Yeah. The only way to be free is to take ownership and take responsibility. At a certain point, you can't blame anybody else. And like you were just saying that when you said leadership and responsibility, like I got emotional for a second because today is Father's Day. I talked to my oldest daughter this morning, and we've had some conversations about leadership and responsibility in the past, and I still haven't done that. And I was just thinking, like, today's the day. Today's a good day to do it. It's Father's Day. And what I'm talking about is like we've talked about on this podcast, we've had a very hard relationship. And even when you do your best, you fuck up. Like, you can never just be perfect. It's impossible. And there was a time when she was in trouble. Like this is another thing that keeps coming up. Shit's messy. It's not black and white. But as a dad, I should have been there more. And I should have went and, you know, brought her here, picked her up, whatever.
And what do you realize?
You
what
see,
stopped
right
you?
now, I want to say, but.
Right.
That is not ownership. That is not responsibility. But is not. You cannot say, I'm taking ownership and responsibility, but.
Right. Yeah.
And if that's how you think, you don't get it. Because I am it. I'm the dad. I'm the leader. You take ownership, whether it's your fault or not.
That's right. And that's the hardest thing to do. But when you do that,
you get set free.
Yes.
And we were just talking about, you were saying like that, like people, they wouldn't let their spouse or whoever like go out and do these things. Like, why? What is it that they're so scared of? They're scared of the unknown.
There's many different reasons.
But it's the unknown. They have no clue what their spouse or partner is out doing. It's the unknown out there. Yeah. You're not there. This is the acceptance. I mean, this is like on a way bigger level than just this. People do not want to accept the unknown, that there just is. They want to control. They want to know. They want.
That goes, and on top of that, they may have been cheated on, in their past, or maybe mom and dad, they didn't have a healthy relationship with mom and dad. So there's an insecurity within them. Maybe they were taught.
I understand, but ultimately when you ask them, what are they out doing right now? Whoever has that mentality, and your spouse is out right now, and you ask them, what are they doing? And what are they going to say? What do you think they would say? They're probably
messing around.
How do you know?
How do I know what?
How do you know?
What they would say?
No. They're out messing around, right?
Oh,
how do you
don't know.
Oh, you don't know.
Right.
Well, what else? What else could they be doing?
Assuming.
What else could they be doing? They're out doing fucking getting hammered at the bar with the boys. Are they? I don't know. Are they like? It's having to have control over the situation and not releasing to the unknown. Because the unknown is fucking scary. It can be, but you're not in control.
Right.
And when you can accept it and just let it go, you're free. Let them be. And you love them, and when you can love them, and if they are the right person for you and they love you, like, it's incredible. There's like this freedom and love. That's real freedom.
Yeah. To be detached.
Yeah.
To be detached by the outcome by not knowing, just to be.
And just to love because.
Right. No expectations.
Just because, not because something.
Right. Like, I love you because you're a great dad. I love you because you're a great husband.
No.
But I just love you because I love you.
Yeah. No, not, I just love you. Yeah. There was something that came up earlier. You were talking about, we were talking about like getting into arguments and stuff like that, and how you don't always want to be confrontational. Like, or if somebody's like hurting your feelings or taking advantage or whatever, how in some situations maybe you let it slide and you can work on the relationship in the future or whatever. And you have to like decide where you're going to apply this and where you're not, right? I mean, if it's my dad, probably going to apply it. You know, I'm not going to just go off. Maybe the relationship's not the greatest, but eventually, hopefully it works out, or we can work on it, whatever. Mm-hmm. But if I was to go off, it could damage it in a way that maybe now we can't fix it, or it would take so much more that it may not be possible. But sometimes there's people that aren't that close to you that you need to put in their place, because they do. And if you continue to allow them to take advantage, they will. And a lot of times we see this with kids. I mean, that's what bullying is, pretty much, is when a kid notices that they can pull something on another kid, and it's like, oh, they're not going to do anything. And recently we had some friends over from the kids, and Joey had a friend over, and I was talking to him earlier, and he was telling me that he had an issue, and like his room's a disaster. Mm-hmm. And he was telling his friend like to stop throwing stuff around. And he kept throwing stuff around, and then it was time to go, and he left. And left the disaster in his room. And this kind of has to do with a little bit of not letting people step on you, but also what we talked about last week about when I was in school, feeling stupid, not feeling like I was good enough, and then putting in a little bit of effort and then gaining confidence. Mm-hmm. And how that changes your character, changes your personality. And I was talking recently, we were talking to Joey this morning at the table about sports. He's going into junior high school, and we're like, hey, Audrey's in high school. She was just in junior high a year ago. And I'm like, we're asking Joey, like, what sports are at school? And he's like, I don't know, fucking Rubik's Cube, you know? So we ask Audrey, I'm like, Audrey, what sports are in school? And she's like, they got baseball, they got football, they got this, they got that, wrestling. They got wrestling. And Joey's like, no, don't tell. Right? And as soon as I'm like, Joe, wrestling would be good for you. And you know what? He already does jujitsu. I was thinking about this. I was like, I'm not going to force him to do wrestling if he doesn't want it. We're going to keep going to jujitsu, and he'll get it just by doing that. Yeah. Because we wrestle, we do all kinds of shit. So he'll get it. But what I was telling him, and today we were also talking about, like, I don't know how we got into it. Maybe you can help. But like, we were talking about like fighting bigger kids. How did we get into that?
Oh, because Audrey was saying that with wrestling, at times that they will pair you up with a bigger kid, which is true, bigger than you. Yeah.
But the thing is that we go to jiu-jitsu all the time, and you get paired up with people that are bigger than you too, and you have to fight, and it's okay. But wrestling is more intense. It's a harder pace and all this other stuff. But the thing is that doing hard things makes you better. Right. And as soon as Joey was like, yeah, sometimes they pair you up, and Joey was like, I can't beat bigger people. I can't beat, like, he literally said, I can't beat bigger people. Mm-hmm. And I pulled up a video of him from a couple years ago doing jiu-jitsu before, like when we were going consistently, and he was fighting with bigger kids and taking them down and holding them down. And a big part of it was that he would take the fight to them, and they were backing up. And now he backs up, and people take the fight to him. And little by little, it's changing. But I was telling him, like, we've been going more consistently. And even after a few weeks, you start feeling better about yourself. and that'll develop confidence, right? I mean, you can see how that would happen. And I was talking to him about his friend. I'm like, dude, why do you allow someone to come and trash your room? I was like, first of all, that doesn't seem like something that a good friend does to another friend. It's just like they ask you to stop because you're going to have to clean up your room and they keep trashing your room. I was like, why did this happen? Why does he think that this is okay? Mm-hmm. I was like, was this the first time that something like this has happened? Mm-hmm. He's like, no. Is this the second time that something like this has happened? No. So it seems like he thinks he can just do this type of stuff. When are you going to stand up for yourself? And the thing is, he hasn't felt confident about himself. Mm-hmm. But little by little, like I said, we've been training. Right. And who knows? Maybe this kid needs another friend in his life to fucking straighten him out, and they'll still be friends after he does. Because there's been situations between me and my friends when we were kids. Kids get into fights and then they're still friends afterwards.
Right.
Sometimes you learn lessons that way. Right? But I'm like, it is not okay for you to let people just step all over you. You don't have to put hands on them, but you can stand up and be like, dude, if you don't stop, you need to get out of my room. And this is where the jujitsu comes in handy. No, for real. Because I'm like, what are you going to do? Make me?
All right.
And then we play the sumo game that we play at jujitsu, where you're in a little square and you throw the other person out of the square. You don't have to choke them. Yeah. You don't have to break their arm, but you know how to handle somebody. You grab them and throw them out of the square and be like, I'm not fucking playing, dude. I'm going to have to clean all this shit up.
Yeah.
If we're not going to play, then you got to go. And I'm serious. There is nothing wrong with that. To stick up for yourself.
Right.
That only comes with doing hard things. Anything that is worth anything is going to be difficult. And to be able to have that type of confidence is not, it doesn't come easily. It comes from fucking getting your head smashed in. But guess what? Like a lot of times I talk about how it doesn't fucking feel good. It feels good after a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, when we were sitting down and we were talking about, like, I'm like, we should put Joey in some kind of sport. You know, I started thinking about Audrey and the shift that happened within her. And it's like, where did that come from? Did it come from her being in softball?
It seemed like it came around that time.
Right?
Like a team.
Right.
And maybe, but the thing is that she wanted to do softball. That's the thing. And kids are different. If there was a fucking Rubik's Cube team, he'd probably die for his fucking team members. Let's fucking go. You know what? How passionate would he be on a Transformers team if that was a thing?
Yeah.
So, you know what? People are good at different things. And he is obviously very good at, he has some gifts, some skills in areas. And it doesn't mean that you can't be good at other things. It just takes more work. Yeah. There's this podcaster that actually started me listening to podcasts, Adam Carolla. And he was talking about, I'll make this quick. He was talking about his son. It's funny. His son is like, I haven't listened to it in forever, but back in the day, his son was like real soft. Like just, he said that raising his son was like raising one like calm cat. And raising his daughter was like 10 fucking stray cats. Like she was just fucking everywhere, right? That's kind of what he said. And he was talking about like football and like how his son likes football and Adam Carolla played football. And football is also not an easy sport.
Yeah.
You get beat up, the coach you drop the ball, you start running, you're doing push-ups, like there's consequences. You have teams, you have a job to do. Everybody's counting on you to do your job so that they can do their job. You learn a lot, right? And when he was talking about his son, I always remember him saying, being a pussy is a lifetime sentence. And I was like, dude, that's fucking harsh. Or like when you think about it, but if you have that timid character, you can change it. It is not easy. I've had that timid like I feel like that timid character is in me like all the fucking time. Cause I'm not like I don't want to be fighting all the time. You know, I don't know. It's weird. I mean, I'm liking it more now. But like I said, it's never like my first nature instinct. There's kids like, you see them, they go out there and fucking hands out and they're chasing people down, trying to fuck people up.
Right. A nephew like that.
Exactly. You know? But you can still, even if that's not you, develop it to a point. And because you know the value of it when it comes to protecting yourself, protecting your family, at that point, it's different. Because now this is something that I value. This is something that I do want to be good at. You know? There was, yeah, go ahead.
I was just thinking that is a great conversation for you to have with Joey and be in that vulnerable space with him because he sees you as the almighty conqueror. Yeah. You know, and to say like, this isn't something that I enjoy doing. This isn't right. Like talk to him about it.
And all of these things that I do, I don't like, they fucking scare me a lot of times. Starting another show when I already have a show, going to school when I haven't been to school, taking another class when I haven't taken, like, and then we always get, like we said, it becomes a cookie in the cookie jar.
Yeah.
That builds more confidence, fighting, podcasting, like everything.
But I really feel that you should have
that
conversation with him because I don't see that in you either. I don't see
that's
that
a big drive
in you at all.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No.
That's
the kid. It's like it's me protecting the kid, that little kid, you know, like I'm the fucking armor.
Yeah. Like I don't see it. This is huge. I don't see it. I feel it. Like when I'm like, I don't know how to explain this. But I can feel like little Michael.
Oh.
Like
Mikey?
seriously.
Yeah.
Like I sense it. I feel it. But I don't see you like as that.
Yeah.
So when you just said that, I was like, that makes sense. Because I would feel it from you. Like I can, and I don't know how to explain that, but.
And I don't think that's I don't think that's a bad thing.
No.
You know, because these things drive me and they make me better, you know?
Right.
Real quick, before we get off of football, I wanted to mention something that happened a little while ago with one of Joey's other friends, one of his best friends that he's had for a while. We were over and they were talking about football and how he was talking about football. And one of the other things that Adam Carolla was talking about, like being a pussy is a lifetime sentence. And he was talking about like concussions and football. And he's like, chances are, he was like, I would rather my son get into football and have a few concussions and be tough and learn how to be tough and learn how to work on a team and do all these things than not play football, never have concussions and just be a pussy his whole life. You know what I mean? And I get that, you know, because I do see the value of football too. Like football is a different type of sport. Basketball is great. You know, there's teamwork, but football is a rough physical sport. You fight through pain and all this other stuff. Like you learn a lot from it and you can apply it to life in a lot of different ways. But just like everything else, we're a lot smarter today than we were before. And we understand what brain injuries are now. And that shit is not so simple and it's not easy to just be like, you know what? I'm cool with just fucking throw, you know, so these thoughts started happening because his friend came over. And he got into football. He's playing tackle football. I got excited. Like I love football. We're Packers owners. We might go to Lambeau Field. Like at one point as a kid, that was my dream, was to play football. And when he was here, I was thinking like, what advice, if I could give him one piece of advice as a football, like a general football player, what would that be? And I was thinking, like the coaches always said, go full speed. Never go half speed. Unless you're practicing or whatever. But if it's a game, or go full speed. He's playing running back where he's carrying the ball and trying to score touchdowns. When you take a second to think and you hesitate for a second and somebody tackles you, that's when you blow your knee out. But when you're driving forward and like moving the pile, you're probably not getting hurt as much unless the pile slows down and then somebody hits you and then you get hurt. But a lot of times it's that split second when you stop and you're like, what am I? Boom, you get hit and you get hurt. But for a running back, what does that mean? That means put your fucking head down and hit somebody. So I'm pretty much going to tell this kid to go give himself concussions.
Yeah.
Like, go give yourself brain trauma. And for somebody that loves football, I want to give him advice.
Yeah.
But I didn't. Because, like, I'm kind of thinking about, like, what am I telling him to do? I don't know. Like, shit's messy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I was thinking about, actually, check out my fighting podcast, Fighting for Your Life. I joined this backyard fighting group or some shit. But one of the guys posted on there talking about, like, why do people try to talk you out of fighting? And a lot of people are like, fuck them, don't listen to shit. And I like thought about it. I'm like, what if somebody's talking you out of fighting because they know fighting so well that they know what could happen and they love you? It's hard for them to see you with a fucking broken nose and your eyes shut.
Yeah.
That could be why they don't want you to fight. It's not that they don't know or they're fucking clueless. Maybe they know very well.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Shit's messy.
Yeah, because I remember asking you about Joey and football.
It's tough. I love football, but I don't, thankfully, or not thankfully, I don't know. I may not have to worry about that at all. He doesn't seem to have interest in doing any of that.
Yeah.
So, but like, it would be tough. Like, and for me, I played linebacker. That's like, you're cracking skulls. Like, that's what you're hitting people. That's your job. You're not trying to cover receivers. You're trying to hit motherfuckers. And I loved it. And I saw stars multiple times.
Yeah.
You know, when you start understanding how valuable, like, yeah, it's, but at the same time, kind of like Adam Carolla was saying, like, who knows? I'm not a fucking professional player. And like I said, I learned a lot.
There's so many questions when it comes to raising kids. You know, like what's right, what's wrong, you know, what,
and the
what's
lessons
good for them.
The lessons come from everywhere.
Yeah. And it's as simple as loving them where they are.
Yeah.
Right? Like, just allowing them to be who they are, allowing them to be free, allowing them to show you who they are.
Yeah.
To be soft, to not be soft.
In the right moments.
It's like, I don't fucking know.
No.
You know, at the end of the day, when it's just like, I'm here to love, to support, to teach them, but I don't want to any limits that I have on me. I don't want to install that limit into them. You know, like I was telling Joey, you only limit yourself when you say you can't do something.
You're making me like scroll through all kinds of old memes that I've had that relate to this stuff.
And we put so many limitations on ourselves. Like before we got on, I was on my phone and I was looking through pictures. And for myself.
Real quick, when you said that you limit,
Right.
and this is something that I was looking at earlier today. It's a quote from Muhammad Ali. When a man says, I cannot, he has made a suggestion to himself. He has weakened his power of accomplishing that which otherwise would have been accomplished.
And there's a difference between I can't and I won't. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I can't really solidifies like there is a limitation within that you truly don't believe that you can do that. Versus I won't, or I don't want to. Like, I don't want to. I don't want to do that. I don't want to learn how to create a website. I don't fucking want to do that.
Right. Yeah.
Right? I could probably, maybe learn how, but I don't fucking want to. And if I don't want to, it's not going to be the best. I'm going to force myself to do something, and I may not. I don't fucking want to. I just don't want to. So I'll figure out another way to create it because I just don't want to. I'm better at doing other things and I know what I'm good at. I don't want to do that. Maybe I can barter some, my services. I could figure out, right. But like making the 10 calls a day. Right? I want to go swimming. I want to be with the kids. I want to do, right? I rather.
Yeah.
But I know that this is
what I
need to do.
Want to versus
it's a little
need
different,
to.
Right? Like that's a little different.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's not all the same. It's not all. But yeah.
But you can force yourself to. It's kind of like when you were an entrepreneur.
Oh
you didn't want to go talk to strangers. You didn't want to go pull doors. You didn't want to go do the follow-ups. Those were challenging for you. You rather fucking make a system with how to make the follow-ups and creating this box and doing all of this. Oof. Me, I rather go out and talk to the strangers and grab a card and make a new friend and pull a door and hey.
Yeah.
I love that. I was good at that.
Yeah, I mean, it
came easy for me.
If we were like one person combined, we could take over the world. Gosh.
But that's why we're together.
Yeah.
That's what makes us great together.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
Yep.
Because where I don't want, you want. And where you don't want, I want.
Yep.
So let's create something together and win together.
Yep. It's awesome, babe.
But it's learning exciting to see. Yeah. It's learning and being real with yourself.
Yeah.
And understanding yourself and becoming aware, mindful, and all these things.
And paying attention because the lessons are coming from everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yep.
Yes. In everything. It's nuts.
Yeah. Before we do anything else, make sure you guys go to our website, Opposites Attract Podcast. Like we said, podcast.com.
It's already 56 minutes.
We're already freaking 50 minutes into this thing. But yeah, make sure you share it with somebody else. Like we said, the best thing you can do is follow our new clips channel, share a clip with somebody else, let them know that the podcast is out there, have them subscribe on audio, on video, Facebook and YouTube. You can find the video. And leave us a comment. If you want to help us out by buying something through Amazon, you guys can click on our link on the Support the Show tab. That'll take you to the Amazon link and just purchase through there, and it helps us out.
Yes, yes. And if you would like to support us in a different way, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/oppositepod, and you can subscribe to that on a monthly basis as well.
Yup. Before we do anything else, I know it's a week after Father's Day now, but for us recording, it is Father's Day. Yes. Today is Father's Day. The kids got me an awesome poster with Audrey. Audrey wrote a bunch. Audrey and Joey wrote a bunch of stuff, and then they incorporated a bunch of different candies and stuff in it. It's awesome. I'm gonna take it to work and hang it up.
I may have a picture.
Do you?
So you can read it because it was pretty creative.
So, but one thing I wanted to say is shout out to all the dads.
Yeah.
Even though it's a week late, shout out to all the dads out there, all the good dads that, do the best they can. I mean, we're not perfect, but when you love your kids, I mean, we make mistakes, but it's not because you don't love them, but, we do our best to clean it up and and keep teaching them, because that's what being a dad is about, is leading and teaching the kids. But I really wanted to give a big shout out to my little brother. My little brother, Alan. Yeah. I'm super proud of him. He's an awesome dad. And he's got a kid on the way.
Yeah.
He's got 2 beautiful kids and his wife. And, you know, life can be rough sometimes. Rough for everybody. But, you know, you hang in there and you stick with your family. We can kind of also, this kind of goes into what we were watching a couple of days ago. You know, because that is how I see a family. We were watching the movie Apocalypto, which is freaking insane.
Yeah.
Insane movie about the Mayans back in the day, directed by Mel Gibson. Bunch of Academy Award nominations or wins or whatever, but definitely check it out if you haven't seen it. But it shows like what somebody would do for love, for the love of their family, to get back to them. And I can see that, like, with my brother and his family and like our family. There's like families where you can see that. It's like, if it's us against the world, fucking bring it. Like, we'll figure it out. This is all we need, you know? And I love it. I'm so proud of my brother.
Yeah, he's doing amazing. There's so much that we learn from our parents.
Yeah.
Right? Whether we follow their path or take a different path. There's so much that we learn from them. And when you look at the full story of what's been created within yourself, I would not be the person that I am today without my mom or dad, because there were so many lessons.
It's crazy, right?
That I learned from them, and I would not be who I am today if I didn't go through the challenges and the struggles, and if those limited beliefs were not there.
Right.
Right? If they were not created, if the seed wasn't planted, I wouldn't be the woman I am today.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, it reminds me of that documentary on Netflix with Tony Robbins, I Am Not Your Guru, where the lady's talking about her dad. Like, she's like, I can't remember exactly what it was. Like, he's this, and I don't remember, but she turned out different. And he was like, so in a way, the reason you are the way you are is because your dad was the way he is.
Yes.
You know, and it puts it in a whole different perspective. Yes.
And if they were not the way they were, and it takes you slowing down.
And the thing is that it doesn't make it okay, but it explains a little bit. It helps you understand. It helps you become aware. And it also helps you like deal with it. Like, because what if you don't see it that way? The rest of your life, you're going to be like, oh, the fuck isn't he not?
Right. No, you're going to blame. You're going to resent. There's not going to be a healthy relationship. Yeah. All of it. All of it.
Yeah.
All of it. And that's where we get stuck. That's where we get stuck, in the blame, in the resentment, playing victim.
Yeah.
Relationships broken. Guilt. Shame. I mean, there's so much that comes with that.
Yeah.
When if you were just to see them, I think it was you who said, why do we, put our parents on such a high pedestal? Like, not high, but like a high
hold them in such high regard?
Yes. You know, when they are just like, we are all human. We all go through shit. We all make mistakes. but we expect them to be so perfect. If they were so perfect, you wouldn't be who you are today.
Well, I mean, if you just think about it, right? If you're listening to this, you're probably, I like saying, you're probably of a certain age. That means that we're getting old. I'm of a certain age. But what I'm saying is, like, if you're 30, 40, I mean, in your 20s, you're still kind of young. But if you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, like, you're an adult, right? Mm-hmm. You're a grown ass person.
Wow.
You're not a fucking kid anymore, right? It's just what it is. Yeah. Like, say what you want. You're not a fucking baby.
No, the age shows that you are an adult. Yes.
Whatever. You're old.
But
you're
there's
not,
still
no,
an
you
inner
are, you
child
are, it doesn't
that
matter.
needs
It doesn't matter.
nurturing.
It doesn't matter. You are literally not a fucking baby.
Right.
Right? And you are 40 or 50 or whatever. Mm-hmm. You may feel that way. Maybe I just can't do it or whatever, but you're not. That is not really who you are. You're an old person. You're getting older. And if you think about your parents, as however you feel, however insecure you might be, I don't know this, I don't have it together, I still don't, I'm not in a relationship, I still don't have what, you think your parents just fucking had it together when they were 40? You think they had it all figured out? I think if you look back at your past, you could probably find times where they didn't. Where maybe they lost it a little bit because they were fucking losing, you know, like, they're human.
Right.
They're not like, and that's part of that conditioning that has to be broken. Because, I mean, we've seen documentaries about cults and shit, and it's like the parents are so into this thing and the kids, like, that's all you got. Like, that is why that is. That's all you have. When you are in this world, we are alone. At the end of the day, we are gonna be alone, right? It's sad, but when you come into this world, that is all you have, your parents. And it's like, once, I think George Carlin was talking about it, it's like once you reach the age of reason and you start having some sense, you're like, wait a minute, something's not right here. You know, like, you start noticing, like, mom and dad, something's wrong with them. They're not perfect, you know?
Yeah.
And I remember listening to a video by Alan Watts, and he was talking about a similar thing. He was talking about, like, people hold, like, grandparents in such high regard. And it's like, now that I am one, it's like, I realize how dumb grandparents could be because I do dumb shit. Right?
Yeah.
No.
All I know is that I don't know. I know that I don't know.
Yeah. Dude, we got to talk about that movie Apocalypto when we get a little chance, but
yes.
Because that was an awesome movie. We probably got to watch it again. It's super gruesome.
It definitely is. Miguel decided to put a movie on.
And then fall asleep and leave Sonia watching Apocalypto.
By myself. And here I am. There's heads on sticks.
Getting fucking chopped
and
off.
I'm about to fall asleep. And I'm like, I can't do this.
They're fucking kicking him down the stairs and shit.
I can't do this. I can't go to sleep watching freaking heads on sticks. Like, this energy into my field while I'm about to go to sleep. So I ended up turning it off. And
so Sonia's sitting there watching heads getting kicked. And I'm like... I'm laying down next to her.
And being tossed down this staircase. I'm like, what am I watching right now by myself?
Oh God.
But forget about it.
But there are so many lessons in that movie that are really good. Yeah. Before we get out of here, I finished up the book, The Power of Now.
Oh, it's too late to get into that, buddy.
No, there's just a couple things. And it kind of has to do with some of the stuff that we've been talking to. But it said, this is at the very end, I think it's like chapter 10, but it's like, when you surrender to what is and so become fully present and when you surrender to what is and so become fully present, the past does not have any power.
Yes.
Like it's just part of your circumstances. I mean, there's lessons, there's experiences that you had that make you kind of who you are or whatever, but they don't have me thinking in a certain type of way.
Right.
And like, there's a certain thing like where you can detach from everything when you have that level of understanding, because even on a national, regional, race, like it's like, we are all the same. Yes, there's differences, but there's not that much. Like, we're all pretty much the same. And if you don't get it, then you don't get it.
Yet.
Yeah, it does not have any power. You do not need it anymore. Presence is the key. Yes. Now is the key.
That's right.
How will I know when I have surrendered? When you no longer need to ask the question.
Repeat that again.
How will I know when I have surrendered? We were talking earlier about control. Mm-hmm. Where are they? What are they doing? Mm-hmm. When you no longer need to ask the question, that's when you have surrendered. Whatever it is that you're looking for. When you find yourself, you're good. I don't need to know what God is or what, like we can theorize and have philosophical questions, and it's cool to contemplate and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, I really don't need to ask the question. I'm it. This is it. There's no more like if I am it, if this is it, what other questions are there? That's what I'm saying. Like, when you know that you are it, when you know that this is it, what other questions can there be? It's that simple.
When you stop searching.
And if you can't see it that simply, then you just don't get it yet. It really, it's a weird thing.
In the book that I'm currently reading, that I'm almost done with, I'm so proud of me because this book was no joke. Talks about that when you stop seeking. Yeah. When you stop seeking.
I don't even know if it's seeking, because seeking, I think, is part of human nature.
In this book means something bigger than yourself. It's like when you stop.
When you're looking for an answer, I think is what you're saying. Because as people, as humans, I think we're curious. Mm-hmm. That is how we have everything. How we created everything around us is by being curious. Mm-hmm. You see a big tree and you see a little thing sprouting out of the ground. The hell is that? Looks like a little one of those. And then you dig it up and you find the roots. I'm sure an animal did that at one point. And then they're like, what is this thing growing off of it? And then you see other little ones and it's like, oh, well, what if I take this and put it over there? And then it starts growing. Like, that's how you get curious. But I don't think it was like, you could see that literally happening, right? Mm-hmm. What answers were they looking for? Probably not any answers. They just wanted to see what happened. Mm-hmm. And if it's that type of curiosity,
right? Yes.
Then I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. But when it's like, I need the answer to this, and I need to know what the universe is about. Like, how does this fucking shit work?
What's my purpose? What am I here to do?
If you're still asking these questions, you haven't surrendered yet. Just be. What makes you happy? Right now, for me, it's being with my family and enjoying the rest of Father's Day with them. I hope you guys had a great Father's Day too, with your family and your kids and everybody else.
Thank you guys for your love. Thank you for your support. Thank you for watching Opposites Attract podcast.
Where we get better
together.
Bye.
Bye.